Gentlemen, welcome back to the mess, which is my desk. And we are going to be talking about, and you are going to see some flight footage of the Eachine MC02 camera system. Now, you may have seen the first look. I uploaded that the second that it arrived. Then I did a full review. We went through some of the specs on there. Fully featured camera. But it's crunch time, and I got some bad news for you. Now, the best way of me sharing the bad news with you is to show you what I experienced with this camera this evening. Now, I also want to stress, I was not sent this camera as a freebie for review. I bought this camera out of my own money. In fact, let me just make the point for this. I will put my order details up on your screen, and I'll just blur out my personal details, but this was paid out of my own money and it's completely unbiased. If you are thinking about buying the Eachine MC02 camera and you do not live in somewhere where it's very, very sunny, okay, you should not buy it. Instead, your money would be far better spent in the MC01. Again, bought out of my own money on my own choice, and I've had one of these before, and they're absolutely brilliant. Bang good customer service, which you may know the story about, is top notch. My other one died, and literally I had the replacement within a couple of days. The MC01 compared to the MC02, this one, it's got less features, less power, but the image quality, believe it or not, because on paper the camera specs are better with the MC02, when you fly it, the MC01 knocks the socks off the MC02. Now, like I said, this is some flight footage from this evening. Let's stop talking, let's get into the flight, and I'll give you some commentary to what happened.
Howdy, it's Matt here. I've just been and got to the flying site. I've got the brand new Eachine MC02 camera with me. I did want to just give you like a look around just so you can see what the lighting conditions are. They are a little bit varied. If we look over there to the sky, you'll see that the clouds, there's sunshine coming in, there's dark clouds in here. So not a perfect day, but what I would personally class as a typical day, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be taking it up. I haven't decided whether I'm going to put it on the Bonsai or the Tetsumo yet, but we'll give it a whirl and see how she does. Happy days. Right, so before we go any further, that's my FPV setup. This is why I love this little camera. Why I like the MC01. You could just mount it on a bit of plywood and off you went. Let me move the fat sharks up out the way. The one annoyance, and let me just go and get that to focus for you, is that because there's no outer case, and I know those of you which will be looking to fly little micro quads where every gram counts, is that, to be honest, I would have preferred a outer case on it. And the reason for that is that, I don't know if you noticed down here in the right hand corner, and I'll highlight that on your screen for you, is there's actually a microphone on there. I didn't realise there was one. Also, when we look round to the side, you'll notice this yellow lead coming out and there's a little jumper in between it. And the reason why we've got a jumper in between it is because you can interrupt the video feed, and that means that you can then link it up to, say, a NAS A32 with, a Minim OSD or a Mavlink OSD, and then pump the video through that and get it to come back out on the video transmitter. So, yeah. Very versatile little camera. Yeah, only negative so far, it doesn't have an outer case, which makes gluing it on awkward, and that obviously means taking it off this board at a later date. It does mean that I need to go careful. So believe it or not, looking at the amount of hot glue I put on there, I did put a sparingly amount of hot glue on it, but now looking at it, maybe I put too much. Anyway, far too much chat. Let's go rag the nuts off this wing with this little MC02 camera.
So this is the view, and this is the recording from my fat sharks on the DVR. I was just doing this as a post check just to see what the quality was like. And you'll see me looking up at the sky. It was perfectly clear. Now notice the darkness. Right, watch that darkness. That already red flagged me to go very cautious when I was going up. Look, Can you see that ground going dark? That is the typical effect of a CMOS camera. So look up, look down, see me moving it quick. I've already picked that up. And that was just me testing, leaving the camera enough time to just get focused. So let's move on to the next shot. So this is me getting set up with the Fat Sharks and just making sure it's right, just going through my pre-flight checks. And you can see that we've taken off. Now, like I said, the lighting today wasn't brilliant, but it's very, very typical of the United Kingdom. And those of you which live in the UK, you know what the weather's like here. So you'll see just blue skies, some clouds. Now, what I'd like you to do is keep a very close eye on the grass field underneath. Do you see how that dark that went? And then the green is coming back. I've already picked this up in my pre-flight check, and I started to feel, and I hate to use this word, uncomfortable. And the other word is unsafe. And you'll see how unsafe I feel because I come into land. I could not continue to fly that plane at full throttle. In fact, I didn't even dare go past about quarter throttle. There, look how bad it is. It was completely unflyable. It was just unsafe to fly with the current on that day with that setup. And you'll see me bringing it in. And again, I don't know if it's on this one. No, I've just brought it in. So not wanting to disappoint you and just go through, I just went through and just checked all the wiring again, and you'll see, look, it's not too bad close up in static light conditions, but the second you have some form of differential between the sky and the ground, which is every time you fly, unless you're in like California and it's sunny all the time, but this flight was not a good flight. You'll see me pick up that it's just too dark. I become scared, and I really wanted this camera to be good. I wanted it to be as good as the MC01 for you. But after seeing it, look, you'll see me tip the nose up, bringing it round, and I was unhappy. In fact, watch me now, because I have taken the goggles off and I land this line of sight because it is not safe to fly. So gentlemen, we're back on the desk. Now I would like just to pause for a moment, and what we're going to do, we're going to switch to some extra DVR footage which was taken on exactly the same evening, literally just a few minutes later, using a Runcam Swift and the Immersion RC video transmitter. And I'd like you to do a comparison between the two. You've just seen what the MC02 was like. It was uncomfortable to fly in, and I had to land line of sight. I just could not continue to fly that evening in those lighting conditions with that camera. I'm really sorry to be telling you this. I genuinely am. I wanted this one to be a winner. So let's just do a quick comparison to the Runcam Swift. We'll get back to the desk in a few moments time, but I just want to give this to you and show you this as a comparison between the two extremities. And it was exactly the same evening, just literally just 5 minutes later. So this is me on a flight literally no more than 5 minutes later. So in many ways, the lighting conditions should have got worse, but look at the difference now. Think of before when we had the dark patches below us, I had absolutely no confidence in the camera at all. And you'll see me now, I've opened her up on full throttle. I'm just ragging the nuts off this wing. I would have not dared to have done that with the other camera setup. And look, you can see the pace which I'm flying at. I'll quite happily float around on that wall. Everything is in clear sight. I'm feeling comfortable to do rolls. And later on with the other camera setup, I was doing Cuban rolls and things like that, and chasing other aeroplanes around. But I'm on full throttle there, and look, I know where I am. I feel comfortable in the air. Whereas the MC02, on that evening in those lighting conditions, which, like I said, is pretty typical of the UK, I could not fly that camera. And I know the MC01 suffers from a similar issue, to be fair, but no way as bad. And that is what I'm used to flying, what you can see on your screen right now. But no, sorry. Let's get back to the desk. I think you've seen enough. So then, gentlemen, we're back at the desk again. Like I said, I think you've seen enough. The quality of the camera picture on that evening in those lighting conditions, which, like I've mentioned now for the third time, which is pretty typical in the UK, I had absolutely zero confidence in that camera. Now, I'm sure many of you will leave comments in the background, oh, it'd be fine on a sunny day or earlier on in the day and things like that. But I'm sure, like many others, we don't always fly during the day. We get up there in the evening. Now, I know the autumn is coming, and this is being recorded on the 6th of September, but it was pretty good lighting conditions. You saw from my phone earlier on during this video. The conditions were good, and we also saw with and I'm going to say this, a far superior camera, so it's pretty much an unfair fight against the MC02. But you could see the quality which I'm used to, the clarity which we had. With the MC02, we just had big black patches, and I knew the ground was there, but I did not know where I was on the ground, in the air in relation to the ground. That made me feel unsafe and unsure. It put everything into question, and that is not what you want. As an FPV pilot, you need to know where you are. So, like I said, as much as I wish that I could tell you that this camera is the absolute dogs, I would just be lying to you. And remember, this is an unbiased review. I bought this camera out of my own money, and it's 25 quid down the drain. The MC01, if you're looking for one of these little mini cameras, instead go for the MC01. There's some other footage of me chucking the baby bonsai around in similar lighting conditions, and this one works really fine. I may just have a duffer for the MC02. I just don't know what to do with it now. I don't want to fly it. I have zero confidence in it. So unfortunately, that's going to go back in its box. I'll email Banggood support. I don't know what, I genuinely don't know what I'm going to do with it. So let's not worry about me right now. Let's focus on you. If you're strapped for cash, you should definitely go for the MC01. It's a great little camera. I've flown loads and loads with it. When I broke the other one, which is not here on my desk at the moment, I immediately bought another one. If I trod on that, I'd just stick it in the bin. I don't give two hoots about it. The MC01, when that one broke, I immediately bought another one and then sorted out with Banggood support to get a replacement or get a refund for the original one. Now, if you are looking for a quality setup, now I can't reckon. So what we're basically talking about is cheap FPV cameras. Okay, if you're on a real budget, MC01 all the way. Okay, that's my honest opinion. And remember, I bought these out of my own pocket. If you're not so restricted on a budget, then I thoroughly recommend paying the extra. And I know it's hard for you to stomach. It was hard for me to stomach paying 30 quid. I don't know, let's say about $50. I don't know the price, the exact price conversion right now. Pay the extra, buy a premium camera. I am super impressed with the Runcam Swift. But with that said, I know that not everybody can afford a Runcam Swift. So what I'm going to do, up on your screen, there is a CCD camera, which is actually sat right here. Now, I have flown this one. Sorry, I don't have any footage of this one just yet. If you go and read the reviews, you go and see what everybody else is saying about this camera. It's inexpensive, but crucially, can you see the big fat lettering on there? And I really hope that's in focus for you. It says CCD. so it's going to be able to react to light far better. It doesn't have all the fancy features which the MC02 has. It doesn't have an inbuilt video transmitter. So what I'll do is put a screenshot up on your screen of one of the other ones which I used, and again, I just want to prove to you that this is coming from me. I'm just walking around my office because I'm trying to find the video transmitter which I've got lined up for the mini Skywalker which I've got, and brilliant. I've been and found it. Now I can't remember the exact model number. It's a 600 milliwatt video transmitter. Like I said, I'll put a screenshot up of this on Banggood. The links to these items are in the video description below. So if you are on a budget, okay, comparable price. The MC02 is about £25-ish, okay. For very similar money, the CCD camera is about £10, okay, and this video transmitter is about £10 to £15. So this combo, yes, it does weigh more, so it does kind of rule out something like a micro quad, okay, but for flying purposes and straightforward quality, this combination would be much better. If you can afford it and maybe you're looking for a second camera or second FPV camera, then wholeheartedly go for the Runcam Swift. It's one of the best investments which I've made. The quality on it is absolutely brilliant, as we've just seen a few moments ago. So time for us to wrap up. You've seen the footage. I will now let you make an educated decision whether you want to invest your money in the MC02. I've lost all confidence in that. I don't think I will be using that again. In fact, I don't even know what to do with it. Like I said, I'm going to be in contact with Banggood support shortly and show them this video and share with them my experience, which I'm sorry guys and girls, it's not been a good one. I think that's the best place for us to leave us on. I want to leave you with some options. So like I said, links to the Runcam Swift and the MC01 and that little video transmitter wherever I've been and put it on my desk will be underneath this video for you. Obviously it's not as small, it's not as compact as the MC02, but you can do all the same things as what you've got on here pretty much. And that little board is got a stronger power, so it's up to 600 milliwatts, where this was just 25 and 200. Now, with all that said, I'd love to know what your feedback on this review has been. My hopes are really high. Please let me know what your feedback is on this camera. If you've been and bought one and you've had different experiences, please share it with the community, and you can do that by underneath this video leaving us a message in the comment section. I will do my best to personally reply to each and every one of you. So your feedback does count. Was that a camera which you were interested in? Do you own this camera and have had a completely different experience? Please share your videos on YouTube and feel free to pop a link in there to them. But I'm sorry, for me, I won't be flying it. And like I said, I want to just stress back from the beginning, this is a completely unbiased review. I paid for that camera out of my own money, and as far as I'm concerned, I won't be using it. So with that said, for myself, Matt, thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch this video. I sincerely hope that it's been able to help you and make an educated buying decision. And as always, from myself, Matt here, cheerios!